Hey everyone, and welcome to my January Plan With Me video. First, I just want to say thanks to everyone who watched the last video, friends and family out there. I really appreciate you watching me create, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it, or maybe it was just interesting for you to watch, and I also hope that it inspired some of you to start a bullet journal, and I'm going to talk today about my January setup, but probably also a little bit about some tips that I have for people that are starting bullet journaling maybe this year. So as you can see on this right-hand side of the page, I just have a title page. This is January, and if you look closely, you will notice that I messed up the little monthly calendar that goes below January, but luckily we'll be making a bigger calendar that we can go off of. And this month, I decided to go with this lilac purple kind of color from Crayola Super Tips. I would definitely recommend Crayola Super Tips if you are looking to start a bullet journal. I can do a video on what supplies I think are necessary for a bullet journal, but really all you need is a notebook. You don't even need a bullet journal, some pens, and that's really all you need to start. But if you guys want, I can show you a video about what things I use and what things I like. So looking at this left-hand side of the page, I just have a quote that I thought was kind of nice. It says, "How wonderfully you have grown since January of last year." And I think that that's something that's really important to think about this time of year, something that's just as important as setting resolutions and looking forward to the new year is also thinking about what you did right last year, or what you not necessarily did right, or just what you did it all last year. Everything that we've accomplished in the last year has been a thing that we did, and that's a way that we grew last year. So I thought that quote was a good idea. And also kind of going with these stars and dots themes, and I also, as you saw, used that washi tape that was kind of celestial themed, so I thought that'd be a good theme for this month. So on this next spread, you'll see I'm setting out my calendar for this month. Like I said, we're creating this bigger calendar so we can write down kind of holidays and appointments and stuff like that, so a month at a glance kind of calendar for you to just write in general appointments and stuff like that. I'll generally go to my, what is that page called? My future log. Oh my gosh, that's so funny, because last video I couldn't remember what it was called either. The future log, which is, if you watched the last video, you'll know, that'll kind of show you things that I've written down earlier, appointments and stuff like that, and then I'll move all of those into my calendar, and then usually I just take my phone with me places, and when I have an appointment or something like that, I just mark the appointment in my phone, and then I write it into my bullet journal, or transfer everything into my bullet journal at the beginning of the month, and kind of go from there. So I'm just kind of creating this calendar spread. It's pretty easy. I just created boxes. I think they're 5 squares by 5 squares. I wrote all of the months, and then I'm drawing in these little circles to write the numbers of the days in, and then I'll just write any appointments or anything, holidays or anything like that. I am interested to see, I don't actually know, now that most people that I'm friends with have real jobs now, I am interested to see how many of you guys have Martin Luther King Day off. I just realized that that's on the 20th this year, and I have it off because I'm working for the state, so I was just curious if who has it off and who doesn't generally. Let me know in the comments below, I guess, if you have it off. I'm just kind of curious how often you get that off in a real job. So you'll see I'm continuing this stars and dots themes on this page, just kind of decorating the page, and you'll see that washi tape again. And then I moved on to this next spread, which kind of brings me to one of my tips that I have, I guess, for starting a bullet journal. I was talking to some people who were interested in my bullet journal, and they were saying, I just don't think I would keep up with it. I don't really know how to make it work. And I think what's important is not to take exactly what I do or what anyone on the internet does in their bullet journal, but maybe take inspiration from that and try it for yourself and do kind of a trial and error. So maybe just try using, if you're interested in doing a bullet journal, maybe just try using it for 1 month. And if it works for you, that's great. And maybe there'll be some things that work for you and some things that don't. So you'll see at the end of the month what spreads you used and what spreads you didn't use. And then later you can recreate those, or you can not, depending on what works for you. So this habit tracker is something that I enjoy making. I just draw these 4 tiny months, and I actually got the numbers right on these ones. And then every day that I do that thing, I color in. So I'm tracking going to the gym, our January Whole30, reading, and of course me trying to wake up before 7:30. Which we'll see if the 7:30 thing works out for me or not. I've always been a night owl, but I really would like to become a morning person in 2020. That's definitely a goal of mine, so I'm gonna try to get up earlier every month and just hope that I can get to what normal, or I guess everyone else would call, early. So then I'm just filling in this blank space down here with a little quote that says reach for the stars. Going back to what I was talking about earlier with using a habit tracker, it really has been helpful for me for tracking my goals. But if it's something that doesn't work for you, or it's something that just stresses you out, bullet journal is really about finding things that work for you and making your life easier. So if it doesn't do that, definitely don't feel like you need a habit tracker. Or maybe just think about you just want a habit tracker for easy things, like you just want to track when you do your dishes or when you scoop your cat's litter box, like me. Those kind of things can be useful for habit trackers as well. Speaking of those kind of tasks, this next spread is something that I did last year and I found really useful, and it's a tidying up spread. So basically I have split the bullet journal page into 4 different sections for the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, and the living room. And basically I'm just writing a list of deep cleaning tasks that I want to do. I try to do deep cleaning tasks in my house every couple of months. Usually it ends up more at like 4 or 5 months. We do these kind of deep cleaning tasks where you do things like you clean the baseboards, and you maybe organize your Tupperware cupboard, and you organize your pots and pans, things like that that just don't get done very often. Wiping down appliances, I like to do those at least twice a year. I think it's helpful, especially I live in an apartment, and I think I've just had to move out of too many apartments and just had to clean away dust that's built up over 3 years when really it shouldn't have been that long. So I just try to do those things about every 6 months. So that's my winter spread for that. So on this next page, we have the weekly spread for this week. I'm just writing out the days of the week, Monday through Friday. I tried to do this like long-handed cursive. Hopefully it looks somewhat okay. I realize I'm not great at hand lettering, but I'm trying to get better. It's another thing with bullet journaling. It's important not to pay attention to things that you mess up. I think when I started, I bought an entire bullet journal and had to get rid of it, I think, within probably a month, just because I wasn't happy with the way that it was turning out. And as time has gone on, I've realized that mistakes are made, and just like me earlier, doing the months or the days of the month wrong on that first page, these are all things that are just small, and maybe not everything will look as aesthetically pleasing as you want it to, but that's not what a bullet journal is about. It's not about making it perfect. It's about how it makes you feel and how it makes your life easier, hopefully. So if it doesn't make your life easier to focus on making it look pretty, definitely don't feel like you have to. So finally, on this right-hand side, I have a meal planning spread. I don't typically make a spread like this every week, but because we're on the Whole30 right now, it's really important to meal plan, and so I thought half of my weekly spread would be taken up by meal planning. So on the left-hand side, you write what you're eating that day. You could write breakfast, lunch, and dinner for each day. We typically make a batch lunch for the entire week, and I end up eating the same thing for breakfast every day, the same shake, so I didn't need to do that, but it would be easy to do that. I just wrote our dinner meals for each day in the left-hand column, and then on the right-hand column, you write the groceries that you need for that meal. And then later I transfer them to a different grocery list and kind of organize it. Well, I pretty extensively organize my grocery list. That's a whole different video though. But I find this very helpful. If you're interested at all in our experience with the Whole30, my experience with the Whole30, and if I like it, how I could possibly give up cheese for a month, definitely post comments below. I can post a video about it, or we can just talk in the comments below about Whole30, but I do really like it, and this is probably the 6th time I've done it. So then you'll also see down in this bottom part, I have extras, snacks and stuff like that, and then also what we need for our batch lunch. We're having a sweet potato chili which sounds really weird, but it's one of our favorite Whole30 meals, so don't knock it. Actually, let me know in the comments below if you would eat sweet potatoes in your chili, because I totally thought that I wouldn't, but it's one of our favorite meals, and I'm very much looking forward to enjoying it the rest of this week. So then, at the end here, you will see the flip through of January. We have our title spread, our calendar, our habit tracker, our cleaning tracker, and finally the weekly spread with the monthly plan or with the meal planner. So thanks you guys for watching again, and I hope to see you again next time for more planning. Bye!